In this video, I'll demonstrate 12 of the most commonly prescribed exercises for shoulder recovery using rearm. You'll recall from previous videos that rearm has a padded grip arm, and there's an adjustable hinge that opens up to a multitude of different angles that lets us address lots of muscles that are often hard to get to. In the shoulder program, we're going to spend a lot of time in position 2, where rearm is on a right angle. You'll also recall that there's a weight arm that holds one or more weights that you take off and on with a push of a button. And one weight is for somebody in an acute phase that's just beginning the recovery process, and it ranges all the way up to a robust 4-weight configuration for somebody that's at the end of the recovery program and just hardening the muscle movement patterns and getting ready to get back in the game. And in fact, oftentimes people use this as a warm-up before a game. So without any further ado, let's get right to the exercises. I've got rearm configured with 2 weights because that's like an early middle stage of recovery process, and that's what I'll use for these demonstrations. Now watch as I push the button and I open it until I hit position 2. Might be a little bit hard to see, but if you had one in your hand, you'd see the number 2. Now I'm going to step back and I'm going to drop rearm over and I'm going to hold it like it's the letter L, as you can see. And you remember that the weights slide and make a click. So there's the click. And that click tells me, in whatever direction I use it, that I've completed the exercise properly, and it gives me some motivation to do the exercise again and again. That's why we get such high compliance. So this exercise is shoulder flexion, and I'll do it 3 times, 2 more times. And it's easy and obvious, right? And then I'll step a little to the side and go out for abduction. And each time we've got that nice click. And then I'll split the difference and go into shoulder scaption. So those are the first 3 exercises. Now they can be done with rearm in this position where you raise it, same click in that direction, put a little bit of load on the forearm when you do that way, and that's fine. So it's a matter of choice, whatever suits the patient best. Okay, so those are the first 3 exercises. Before I go on with more exercise, I want to show you something I think is very important. A lot of you will be working with patients that have limited range of motion. They won't be able to achieve what I just showed as the completion point of the exercise. Maybe they can only reach their arm about this high. So watch how we address that. See, I've adjusted the angle in my hand of rearm, and now it clicks at that level. And I'm going to just go through this quickly because it's a much more interesting subject that I want to cover here. A little bit of adjustment and it clicks here, and a little bit more adjustment and it clicks way up here. I think you might be able to anticipate that there's a way to incrementally restore full range of motion using this device, and not just to exercise it at the range that's typical for the recovery process that I'm going to show you for the rest of this. For the next exercise, we're going to change the hinge position. So watch, I press the button in the center and I open it up to position 4, and there's a number 4 there that this button is aligned to it. Now in position 4, this is a stick with a weight on the end of it. And the only difference between this and a stick with a weight on the end of it is this one gives you feedback. So watch, I'm going to take it in, let's call this a ski pole grip. Kind of looks like I'm busting out of the gates when I'm skiing, right? Now watch as I push straight back into shoulder extension. And you hear the click at the end of the range of motion, just like you're expecting. Now in the spirit of what if somebody can't get that far, watch this adjustment. If I can't get all the way here, but let's say I can get about that far, I bend until, did you hear that click? And now I'm at the right angle to repetitively do the range of motion that I'm able to accomplish. Watch me exaggerate. I'm going to bend even farther, and now it's going to click kind of right in line with my body, right? So there's always a way to adjust this for somebody with limitations. Another really cool thing about rearm. Okay, back to the next exercise. Now I'm going to go to the position we were in before, and I'm going to do the same exercises we did earlier, but I'm going to do them bent over. So I'm going to take rearm, and this time I'm going to hold it, it's an L, but I'm going to hold it upright. So now it's kind of like it's a pistol grip. And I'm going to bend at the waist, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to hit scaption, and I'm going to hit the raise, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to change my grip to that second grip, and I'm going to do the same 3 exercises. So every one of them I do till I hear the click. The click motivates me to keep going. That was a simple set of 3 exercises. Now I'm going to get into the rotational exercises. Last 4 exercises. Let's do some internal and external rotation. So for that, I'm in that same grip that I had before, and I'm going to tuck my elbow against my side, and I'm going to bend over, and watch what happens as I raise my arm. Wow, I can't go that far. I'm a relatively healthy guy, but I can't go as far as I'd like. So remember how we biased it before? I'm going to bias it. You see that? This is unbiased, it's straight down. This is biased, and now I can complete the exercise. Same thing can hold true for the opposite direction. I can just about do it, but if I bias it a little bit, then I can perform internal rotation. Okay, those are the trickiest ones I've got. Now I'm going to do it standing. You know, the last 2 exercises are a little bit tricky, so watch. I've got rearm in my arm, pointing down, and I'm going to bring my elbow back, and then I'm going to perform an external rotation. There's that beautiful click telling me I've done it right, and you know we can load it up as much as we want. Its corollary goes in this position, so rearm is pointing down, it's outside my body, I'll show you why in a second, and I do an internal rotation. Very effective. Now you can also do internal rotation from that same orientation, but it doesn't work for everybody's. You know, if your forearm isn't long enough, it kind of interferes. Okay, you've just seen 12 of the top exercises commonly prescribed for shoulder injuries. This is all done with rearm, all done in this case without me changing any weights, but sometimes you have to. But I think you understand that there's a progressive loading, that there's numerous angles we can use to attack any muscle group, and it's highly effective because it's so motivational to use. That's why we call it the Swiss Army knife of shoulder exercising.